Very messy, very unorganized. It was not what we were expecting at all. It was really bad. I mean, it wasn't awful, but it was just wasn't what we thought at all. Not what we thought at all.
I'm Chris, and I was a model in the fashion show. At the club fair, walking around, I saw loads of people crowding around the fashion show stand and saw my friends do it, and Molly, Nicole, Lily and Susie promoted it quite well, so I signed up for it.
When we had everyone signing up to which theme that they wanted to be a part of, it was very chaotic because there's a lot of people that wanted to sign up, and yeah, it was just very busy.
But they did a good job getting it done, you know, just all around like being like sharp on time and just bossing people around in a good way.
My name is Jackson, and I was part of the photography unit.
I thought the photo shoot was probably the most fun part. All the photographers were different and they all wanted different things, but they were all really clear.
Sometimes they wouldn't take it as the photographer telling them what to do, but oh, it's Jackson just telling them what to do, whatever, like, doesn't matter. But in the end it did work well, because slowly they started to actually listen to what I was saying, because the other people were saying like, oh yeah, that actually looks good. So first it was actually getting the respect that I needed before they would take my opinion seriously, but once they did, then it worked well.
Well, as soon as the pictures came out, it was exciting, but it was also embarrassing. I had not seen the pictures before they came out on a poster, and yeah, I was just surprised. And I think Lily was who edited them, and I thought they were really edited well.
Yeah, so I was in charge of the grunge genre for the fashion show, and I asked to be the grunge designer because I think it went well with my style and the fact that I had a lot of freedom with what I did, because with grunge you can typically, although you associate grunge with the whole rock and roll thing, I think there is more room to be a little bit more artsy, and
it's a style of fashion that includes baggy torn clothes.
I was allowed to, you know, incorporate some color with some black. I remember we had this one model, Paulina, and I wanted to go with like what a grunge girl would wear to maybe a club, so I had this skirt with full contour drawings, and I paired that with a jumpsuit and some nude heels with a really cool jacket on top, I think from CDG, Comme des Garçons, and that was one of my favorite looks. As well as, I remember because I wanted to do that, and I also wanted to have my girl look like she could go out during the day but then also go out at night, so I got my model Ida to wear this dress that went up to here. It was like a turtleneck dress with a long v-neck with some heels and an off-white jacket, and then I made sure that the hair was done in a particular way so it wasn't too, you know, made up. It looked like she just got out of bed and did it. So I think that's why I picked grunge, because it was a really creative medium and I had a lot of say in it, what it could do. You know, it was very flexible, which I liked.
Working with Sada was really fun because she's really close to me and I know most of her clothes and her style, and I thought that she she put a lot of herself into her outfits, and it was stressful at some points because we didn't agree on everything, because we do have different styles, but I understood that I was the model, and so she was a stylist and I listened to her and what she had to say.
The theme that I was in was vintage, and it was a fun theme to do. However, I wasn't really sure what kind of era we were doing, so I had a lot of problems finding the right kind of clothes and costume to wear. So we had to try quite a few different combinations, but in the end it all worked out. I had Gina and Estelle as my stylists, and they both helped me quite a bit, trying to get the right combination.
So the themes I did were vintage, and then I did movie. And my movie was Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So it was kind of hard to recreate the costume for Ferris Bueller, but Jenna and Daniel did a pretty good job of getting me ready for that. And then vintage, it was Gina and Estelle, and they always knew what they were doing.
So for the movie theme, they were trying to make me look like Elvis.
It was so funny because we couldn't do it. We didn't have a gel that was strong enough to hold his hair back.
So they put like tons of gel in my hair to slick it backwards, and yeah, it was fun.
But in the end, like somehow it worked out, but he kind of looked so oily and greasy, but it looked really good.
Romeo and Juliet as a theme was quite romantic. We had a lot of flowy outfits, and we had the models coming out in couples. So there's a boy and a girl, and all the boys were dressed up in suits, and all the girls were dressed in flowy dresses. One of my favorite things about the fashion show, and my theme especially, was the whole contrast between the boys and the girls, and how the girls were so feminine and so girly, and the color scheme was mainly pink and white and creams, and the boys were all like in crisp black and white, and I just liked that aspect. We also had all the girls wearing white flower crowns, which I really liked as well.
I decided I wanted to do makeup because I feel like I'm pretty good, and all my friends always ask me to do their makeup, and I always watch like YouTube videos, and I like it. I worked with 3, 4, 5 other people. Like the rest were students and 1 professional. We had a few rooms. In the beginning we were in like a little hallway because clearly we're not that important. But it was so hot, so they finally gave us our own room, and it was good.
One of the problems was the organization kind of was hard to keep up with.
There were a few people that knew exactly what was going on, and it went that way.
One person kind of knew everything and was telling everyone what to do, but like individuals didn't know everything that was going on.
Others, like me and other models, were kind of just sheep listening to the other main herders in some sense.
After we went down the catwalk, you had to quickly get off and run around the stage and go around back, and probably the timing wasn't great because I had to literally sprint from like the moment I got off the catwalk to behind the line at the end, so yeah, that was probably that's something that could have been done better.
Like being in sync with the music was quite easy, and just like, I guess like the pose, it didn't really matter that much as long as you had like a pose to do. Although I couldn't go to all the rehearsals because I had prior commitments, like you made it pretty easy for us to like get into the flow, and it was quite, I mean, it wasn't stressful at all. So
The night of the show, it was so busy and so chaotic. No one knew what they were doing. Everyone's like running around, and none of the models knew like what makeup they were supposed to get, when, or where to go. But in the end, it all worked out.
So just being everywhere with like your friends, like, because none of us, we were all kind of doing it just to help out, but it ended up being really fun. So
hanging around backstage was fun. Just chilled with some people, look at other people stressing out before going on stage and so on, which was quite funny. So
my favorite part of like the backstage was making fun of other people, kind of, and just hanging out with friends, and yeah.
Backstage was really, really fun. Everyone was like playing music and dancing.
Thinking about you. Ooh, no, no, no. I'm thinking about you. Ooh,
Go, Daniel! Even though Nicole and Molly would come backstage and be like, be quiet, shut up. But the vibe was really good, and the way that it was organized this year was organized by a group of friends, Nicole, Molly, Lily, Susie, and it looked quite fun, and I kind of want to do it with my group of friends. So working with Molly, Susie, Lily, and Nicole, was quite stressful.
It was quite good. They were really organised, so they knew what we were doing, and as long as you listened to them properly, then it all went smoothly. So.
There were, for example, Susie was always trying to make things funny and stuff, while Molly was really serious and trying to get things together. But I think that in the end, all of the components that they put together were really successful.
No, that we actually all pulled it off. If anything, like, it was a really good fashion show. The music was sick. The people looked amazing. The crowd was great. The spokesman was like hilarious. Yeah.